second? Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We are in week 3 of Inmates to Entrepreneurs 8-week course. I'm going to go ahead and apologize on my end. I am in a pretty bad thunderstorm, so my internet keeps saying it's unstable. So I'm going to try and not be on the mic as much tonight, hopefully. As always, if your username is not your actual name, if you could please make sure that you either change it or you message me or you email me letting me know that you are here. I want to make sure that I count your attendance. Also, like I said, Zoom is causing issues, I think, for a bunch of people these days. So if you have issues, the easiest way to kind of trouble fix would be to exit the meeting, use the same Zoom link to log back in. I'll let you in. I'll be monitoring the waiting room, so no worries there. And then as always, we are recording. So I will send you all the recording, the slides, any of the links that we throw in the chat tomorrow in the recap email. We do have Josh, Nadav, and Marco back with us this evening. Instructors, we do have a few new faces. So I'm going to ask you if you could please kind of reintroduce yourselves to the group. I am making you all co-hosts now. And then whenever you are ready for the PowerPoints, please just let me know.
All right. So, Allie, first off, stay safe during your thunderstorm. Being a Southern Californian, you're going to have to explain to me what a thunderstorm actually means. Yeah, not raining here. Can't really see a cloud, just palm trees. Anyway, my name is Josh Nowak. I'm co-founder of Breaking Free Apparel. We are a screen printing shop based in Santa Ana, California, which is south of LA, north of San Diego. But more than a screen printing shop, we are a second chances employer, and you can find us over at Breaking Free BFI. And I would like to welcome to the chat the stud, the man, the myth, the legend, at least in his own mind, Nadav Mer.
I thought you were going to end that with Marco Bergerella. Yeah, that's the intro that I want to give Marco. Well, thank you for that. Always make me sound amazing, which is too much, but
but you are amazing.
Not as amazing as you. We're gonna have this fight every week, or Marco. So happy to be back with all you. This is gonna be a party. We have a lot of fun stuff to get into today. I'm Nadav Mer, coming to you live from rainy College Station. Also in thunderstorms, College Station, Texas. Breaking our long drought with a bunch of rain here. I totally got soaked walking between buildings today on campus, like from the knees down, completely wet, and students came in my class just completely drenched. So the thunderstorm vibes continue into this way. And I was an entrepreneur for 15 years. I was in the specialty coffee sector and also IT. And for the past 9 months, I have been a lecturer, a professor teaching business skills in the agricultural economics department at Texas A&M University. And it is a party. I get to do this for work, people, but I do it with you guys for fun and for love, and that's the best way. So I'm stoked to be here. Marco, how are you doing? The super amazing, talented Marco. I got to try to give you as big of an intro here.
Don't need the intro. No, happy to be back with the two of you and everybody here in class. Missed you all last week. I was here 2 weeks ago. I'm calling from Phoenix, sunny but hot Phoenix, Arizona. So no bad weather except for the 110 degrees that we have going on here. But about myself, my background, I've been instructor with Inmates to Entrepreneurs for about 2 years or so now. Previously, I used to help advise startups when they launched, helped launch about 30 different startups. And then for the last 4 years, I was running a mortgage software company and trying to currently work on exiting that a little bit and selling that company, which is great. And then now I'm the co-founder of a company called Wedley. We basically help people rent out backyard wedding venues in Phoenix, Arizona. So super exciting stuff. I love this week. Week 3 is a good one with the sales. It's kind of like where I've spent most of my time and the companies that I've helped build. So excited to dive in with Josh and Nadav tonight, and we'll kind of get rolling here with some elevator pitches.
Take it away, Marco. Call people out. Let's do it.
We'll go. I mean, I wasn't here last week, so maybe Josh and Nadav, if there's folks who missed last week and wanted to share their elevator pitch, but if anybody wants to come off mute, you can raise your hand or throw something in the chat, and you can come off mute to share your quick elevator pitch. Tell us who you are, what you're doing, where we can find you. Kind of a smaller group tonight, so hopefully a good amount of folks should be able to participate. We got any volunteers up front here? We'll look for some hands.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, got you, Chris.
All right, how y'all doing tonight? My name's Chris. I have my elevator pitch ready. All right. It's pretty much I want to do hey, welcome to Chris's Liquidation Center, where we provide and I was trying to read it without doing it, without reading it. Let me see what I got, man. Damn, I thought I was ready. It'll be more like, hey, welcome to my store. I provide damn, man, y'all making me nervous.
It's okay. It's okay, man.
Okay, here we go. It says, welcome to CRC Liquidation, where I sell better quality products for a lower price than retail. It's half off of retail because I'm selling liquidation items. And, just take a look around, and here's my card. And after you come to the shop 5 times, you get $30 off your fifth order. Everything in here is quality. It went through my, I scoped it out myself, so I'm picking out the best quality for you to spend your money on. I'm giving them something that they can see, that even though it's a discount store, I'm still providing quality products for their money, So I want them, and then I'm offering a card at the end. I'm giving them a card, so either they come to the shop 5 times, they get $30 off their 5th order. But that's pretty much something. That's about it.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks for sharing. That was good, man. Hey, I appreciate you being brave to go first of all. And then I think you had like some good energy there too. Don't worry about having to go back and check your notes and stuff. That's normal. That'll just come with practice. So you'll just keep working. You'll get the hang of it. Just keep rolling. I like what you do. I think that's a great business model. I think the one thing suggestion I'd give you on your pitch is maybe when you do get a store, or if you do have a store, give us like your cross streets, or give us like what part of the town you're in or something. That way it's like, hey, we have a shop at the corner of 3rd and Main or whatever it is, or in the Northwest Valley, whatever it is. And then from there, that will just kind of help give people a little bit better of an idea of like where they can find you. But I thought it was a good pitch. I understood what you do. I like the discount kind of thing at the end too, if you come in 5 times. So you can shorten it up a little bit, tighten that, but I think that just comes with practice. So good job. Nadav, Josh, any thoughts there?
After you, Prince Charming.
I was going to say, good job too. I think it was great that you brought the energy. I definitely get the feeling that you're into it. You're excited about what you're bringing. I think if you practice it one more time with us out here, it's going to feel that much more natural, right? And easy. So you broke the seal today. It only gets better from here. You get more confidence doing it. I also love that liquidation store model. Moving down to Texas, there are more of those kinds of stores, and a lot of retailers have an issue with returns. Like they don't know where to put the stuff that gets returned. That stuff gets dumped somewhere. Someone's picking it up and reselling it. And I think it's a really fun and interesting business to be in. So there's a lot of potential there to do that. And I agree with Marco. You just tighten it up a little bit. Give us a line about what you're doing. Give me a line about why you're different and special. Because either it's the selection, the service, whatever that is, and then how we find you. That's kind of the goal, is to keep it real tight. What do you think, Josh?
I try not to. It makes me more like you. I think Marco, yep. Nadav, yep. The only other thing I might add is get me in the mood for what it is that you have a lot of. So, hey, we've got plenty of apparel this week. We've got plenty of, every week we have, if you think about the life of a liquidator, you're going to have things that kind of come and go. So highlight the things that you need to move. Selfishly to you, I've got, let's just say you just took over the inventory for a restaurant. So now you've got a bunch of stuff that you need to get rid of. So now it's like your outward pitches. If you need restaurant supplies, you need deep fryers, ovens, pots, pans, we've got plenty of restaurant stuff for you. If you've just taken over a warehousing operation, we've got forklifts, jack pallets, shelving units. Think about what it is that you need to move, and just kind of be mindful of that. It's not that you don't have other things. Like when you start mentioning, I've said this to people over the time in which I've taught, where when you say that we specialize in, you're never being exclusionistic. It's not like, hey, if someone's looking for that random item, like just the other day, I was looking for a forklift. I called my friend who happens to be a liquidator. I said, by chance, do you happen to have a forklift? Now, I know there was a 1 in 20 shop, but let me just give it to him first because he might have it. He might know a place that have it, and I already have a relationship with him. So when you start mentioning it, people start remembering what it is that you've mentioned over the months. And if you have it one week but not the next, okay, this week I've got a bunch of restaurant equipment. Next week, I've got a bunch of warehousing stuff. The week after that, I've got a bunch of just general office furniture. I've got cubes and office chairs. When you start mentioning specific items, people start going through their mental Rolodex of, do I need this or do I know somebody who does? Because everyone likes to save a dollar or two.
I love it, Josh. It's a great point. It really makes me think the follow-up to that, especially on sales week, is sell what you got, right? So if you got a container of socks, right? You are rich in socks. You want everybody to know, I got socks. Come and buy socks from me. And you'll see some, especially novice sales folks with less experience, start talking about stuff, start selling something. And then someone's interested and they're like, oh, I actually don't have that. Like that's a special order thing, right? And they just dug themselves in a hole. Don't be that guy, right? Sell what you got is the goal. And Darian, I think that you wanted to get in last week and weren't able to about your kennel stuff. I feel like you chatted in. Darian, I'll call out on you, man. You want to join us and drop your elevator pitch for us? I think you're going to have to unmute.
Hello, yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Well, my name is Darian Goolsby. I own a kennel. I call it Cut Up Kennels. You know, we raise bullies, and the object of my kennel, like, I want to show everybody bullies need love too. Sometimes that's the motto. You love a bully, they love you back tougher. But we sell bullies. We specialize in bullies, all exotics, all colors. You know, build it from the ground up. I studied the game for a long time, and you know, I'm just preparing it now. Like I got everything in order, but yeah, it's coming. Like it's hard, but it's coming. And I'm based out of Georgia, Cut Up Kennels. I've had puppy sale nationwide already, but you know, Cut Up Kennels, based out of Georgia, and I'm just trying, man.
All right. So why don't we take it from when I've mentioned this before, I like to have just a general base formula.
Mm-hmm.
Good pitch is going to be, tell me who you are.
Okay.
So I'm Darian, and I am with Kennel Club. And we are a breeder of bullies or Chihuahuas, or, you know, I really know that Nadav likes Shih Tzus.
Actually, like Pekingese is a good breed in my opinion, but there's a lot of good little breeds there.
And I specialize in breeding XX, you know, this breed. This week we happen to have a Brent. Is it a litter? What do you call a new
litter?
Okay, so this week we have a new litter of Pekingese dogs just for Nadav, that are available for adoption. So make them your forever home. You can find me over at Kennel Club, you know, on socials, and then you're done. Okay. So if you just keep to that, because again, what I need to know is who are you? What is it you do? Something maybe clever about you, something that makes you different, or something that's seasonal and relevant, as I was mentioning to Chris. Hey, if you've got socks, tell me you've got socks. And then how do I find you? And so if you're on the outskirts of, if you're in Georgia, you know, tell me if you're near Macon, tell me if you're near Atlanta. Don't ask me for any other cities in the state of Georgia. I am really just not Georgia savvy. And then tell me how to get hold of you. And then your pitch is pretty much done. So if you keep to that kind of formula, I think that's kind of the way to go. What do you think, Nadav and Marco?
Yeah, Marco, you got something to add?
Yeah, I think that's Josh's format is really good there, Darian. And I think just the one idea I had for you too is people love dogs. They love pictures of puppies. Man, you will win people over if you just at the end of your pitch, no matter who you're talking to, be like, hey, here's the litter that we just had that was born a couple weeks ago, and you show somebody photos. They'll sit there for a few minutes, and that allows you to open up a good conversation. So if I was you, I would like use the favorites, thing on your phone on photos, where you can like always have easily available or accessible photos to show people, because that will really help your pitch. Because people like, I don't know, seeing pictures of dogs. So I think that'd be great for you to do too. But Josh's format is good. I can tell you got some good energy there. So if you just hone it in a little bit, I think that'll be a really good pitch. I like the model.
Bring it to us again next week. It's great. Thanks for sharing, Darian.
Thank you.
And I think we had to get Vanessa before Ronald. Did I read that right?
Yes, please.
All right, Vanessa, please join us.
And she might have actually been it might have been backwards there, Josh. I think she might have been saying she can't talk for 20 more minutes. Maybe we'll get to her in a few.
Okay, sounds good. Then my bust.
Oh, you're good.
right,
Ronald,
cool.
you still there? Did you want to go? Or Vanessa, if you're ready too, you can go as
Yes.
well. Ronald?
My name is Ronald. Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay. Here's my elevator pitch. Hi, my name is Ronald, and my company A1 Cleaning is here to make your cleaning easier. We're an environmental company, and we use environmental chemicals. We provide commercial and residential cleaning services. We're located on the corner of 3rd and Crump in Memphis, Tennessee. Here's my business card. Have a nice day. What do you think?
Nailed it. I don't know how much I would add or change to that, Ronald. I think that was really good. I mean, I think in my mind, you hit everything. I know what you do. I know how you're different. You're doing more environmentally friendly type of cleaning, which is great. You do commercial and residential. I might push you, hey, focus on one, commercial or residential first to start. But if you're already doing both, then great. Yeah, I don't know if I have any feedback there for you. I thought that was a great pitch, but maybe Nadav and Josh caught something else.
I thought it was tight. I thought it was really good too. Yeah, the only other thing I would probably have you add would be the service area. Are you in downtown Memphis? If not, what side of town? That's probably more relevant than where your office is. Because if you're a cleaning service, nobody cares where your office is. It's where are you showing up to clean.
Right.
So I would have
Right.
you double down on that. But otherwise, yes, love the confidence. Love the idea. We've talked to Molly in this course about her cleaning stuff a couple of these weeks.
Mhm.
And yeah, the cleaning business is amazing. It's a great first business. And Josh is going to tell you all the other ways that you did a great job.
Thank you.
I think the other guys have hit it straight on. I think for you, it's just a matter of like, nothing beats practice and practice and practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. It helps it start to flow a little bit better, and you start feeling a little bit more, you feel a little bit smoother, a little bit more confident, and that's kind of where you're at. You've got the right text, you've got the right flow. It's like every week you'll hear me say the same darn pitch, more or less, at every class I start. And I probably have said that pitch 2,000 times this year. Every networking event I go to, every time I introduce myself, every time I tell somebody at a gathering of any kind, when someone says, well, what is it you do? Well, I'm Josh, and I own the Screen Predict shop in Santa Ana. Like, it gets to the point where it's pretty,
Like the back of my hand.
that's exactly right. As well as, I mean, I could probably be a little bit more energetic with it, but yeah, let's be energetic. Let's be over the top. Let's be memorable. Like, of all the people, the way I think about these elevator pitches, you're sitting in a room at a Chamber of Commerce event or a BNI or other networking event, and people are going around introducing themselves. And for the most part, most of the people, the person before you and the 10 people before you are boring as heck. They tell you basically, hi, I'm so-and-so, buy my shit. And then you're going to go up there saying, you guys are all filthy. No one likes toilet. Like, be like, as
Different.
I mentioned to Molly last week, you could have so much fun talking about cleaning because everyone hates it.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone needs it. And Nadav's nodding, even Allie's even nodding. So for Allie to agree with me, it takes an awful lot for that to happen. Like, Allie doesn't like to clean her toilet bowls. Are you kidding me? I'm sure they're remarkably impeccably clean, but I'm sure she doesn't like it. So it's like you can have some fun with people at their expense saying, I know your bowls are messy.
Yes.
And even if they're not messy, I think you want them to be a little extra clean and you don't have to do it. So we're going to use some incredible eco-safe green chemicals to make sure that your house comes out smelling good and feels good. Like everything that we talked with Molly last week. And Molly was sitting there saying, yeah, we talked about this, as she taps on everything that kind of like, there's just so much you can do to make fun of people saying, hey, we're going to dust all the spots that you don't want to go to. We can get into those cracks and crevices and just stay right there and let people go on the innuendo on that one. Like there's so many different ways that you become memorable in that moment where people remember, hey, I need your card. Don't be so quick to discount, because this is a service where you want to make sure that people are paying for it. Like we talked about this with Molly last week, like don't be so quick to discount, know your audience, know what they're willing to pay, and you want to price accordingly. So if you're in a place where the average cleaning for a 2-bedroom place is, let's just say it's $80, you don't want to come in at 70. You'll regret it. Because the people that you're going to sign up are people that are going to have the least, their houses are going to be a mess, and they're going to want you to make it perfect. Unrealistic expectations.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was going to say the one thing that I'm hearing, and I think is really also important on sales day, right? Is when you sell a cleaning service, when you land an account of someone that you're regularly going to go and clean their place, you only have to sell that one time, right? And then it should be recurring. If they're happy and they like you, they might keep you for years, right? Forever, but you only have to sell it one time. As opposed to Darian with his kennel, right? If he does a really good job, he's going to sell one puppy. And maybe in 10, 12, 15 years, when that puppy sadly passes as a super happy old pooch, maybe they'll remember Darian, maybe. And just businesses are like that. It doesn't make Darian's business bad and yours good. It's just knowing what, what that setup is for you. And some of that might be like, I want to choose a business. I don't like to sell that much. I want to choose a business that once I sell, it's going to keep rolling and be recurring in that way.
What I'm getting from you guys is that I should, in my elevator pitch, kind of paint a picture in their head of what my service is and what they need and how I can help them. So kind of paint a picture in their head, and that kind of makes it memorable, doesn't it?
1,000% yes. Every single one of your pitches should be 1,000% yes, that you're painting a picture of me being in, it's not even me being in your space cleaning. You want to create the picture of that house being clean. So real estate agents, I don't know if we have anyone who's had the real estate agent thing here going on, but any real estate agent, if they're doing an open house, you go to an open house, there will be fresh baked cookies on the table. It's not because they want to give you cookies. They don't give a shit about the cookies. It's how does it smell? And what is the feelings that fresh baked cookies evokes from you? So when you start painting pictures, that's why I'm telling you, for Darian, I'm telling, hey, let's talk about the exact dogs we're talking about. That's why we also commented, have the picture. I'm telling Chris, Nadav said to Chris, hey, if you've got socks, we've got socks today. I'm telling you, paint that picture so that you are already casting the vision of them walking into a perfectly clean house and everything that entails, so that the toilets are clean, the kitchens, the dishes are clean, the cooktops clean, all that sort of stuff. And then you're creating that emotion, because here's the reality. People buy with emotions. They don't care about price. They buy with emotions. I'm going to buy something because I effing want it. Later on, they're going to justify the logic. I needed it because whatever it is, it was on sale. It was 2 for 1. But we buy things because we want them. It's just that simple. I'm going to have my house clean because I deserve to have a clean house. And I don't want to do the hard work to get there. And you happen to be local, and you happen to be affordable or whatever it is. And I have to have the house clean because I've got people coming in from out of town. Your best clients, though, are people like my ex-wife. Okay, let me just rephrase that. She's the person that cleans her house before the cleaning person shows up.
Oh.
So, and we happily, for many, many years, we happily played the cleaning person because She appreciated that fresh, clean smell, but actually went through the process of actually cleaning the house before the cleaning lady got there. And it's not to say that we paid a discounted price because of it. House was immaculate beforehand. And Big J, that might be true. That might be true. And Molly, if you want her number, there are too many places that I can go that are just not appropriate.
Thank you
All
guys
right.
for your comments.
You bet. You bet.
Great job. Great job. What do you think? We got time for more?
Yeah, let's go for one more. It's marketing week.
Yeah. Or if Vanessa's ready too, she can come off mute as well. You want to go?
Hi,
Hello.
it's Ayana.
Oh,
Let's.
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
You want to go?
Ayana, yes. Hi guys. So I want to share my elevator pitch for one of my business ideas, which is my name is Yaya. I specialize in aromatherapy and holistic healing. My company is called Goddess Goals Candles and Company. We sell intention candles infused with healing herbs and crystals. This means finding a time each day and state, This means finding the time each day to state the intentions before you step onto a roller coaster of your habitual thoughts and actions. You can find us you can find our shop on Etsy.com to browse handmade candles to fit your subconscious desires.
I like it. It's a little long. Your ending is, we talked about just painting a picture. Subconscious desires is saucy. I love it. So let's trim down some of the other pieces to it. Let's put it on a diet. You know, I'm Yaya, and I'm the founder, owner, maker, chief candle. You could really have fun with the title on that one. Chief, I'm not the baker. I'm not the, what's the nursery rhyme? Was it the baker? No, was it I'm the candlestick maker? It's a fairy tale.
Oh, I don't know.
You could have some fun with the job title. Like my official actual job title is shot caller, as in a play on words of, instead of being shot collar, even though I'm not wearing a collared shirt. Yeah, you could be a little creative on that front. And I have, you know, I've got my candle company. We have blah, 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 blah. You can find us on Instagram here, and we indulge all of your subconscious desires. You're going to get a lot of people turning attention to that. What was it that she just said? And Molly just chimed in, helping me out, helping the brother out. The butcher was, I'm not the butcher. I'm not the baker. I'm the candle maker.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a good pitch. I agree 100% with Josh. Trim it up, tighten it up a little bit, but these types of businesses can be surprisingly amazing. I've known people doing aromatherapy, this kind of stuff, and there is a market there. I don't think I am the target, but someone's buying that stuff. And I think it's super fun. And yeah.
Dude, don't tell me that. I know you've got cases of vanilla candles in your office.
I don't know. My subconscious apparently needs a lot of work. I need a lot of refinement.
Well, we know that.
What do you think, Marco?
Yeah, I thought that was a great pitch, Ayana. I thought that was awesome. I think one spot, like with Josh, you shorten it. That the second to last sentence, I think, was a little bit confusing for me. You know, before you step out every day, the roller coaster emotions. It's great. I like that. I think just depending on like how much time you have with somebody is when you should or not.
Cool.
I agree.
Overall, yeah.
It's like those words would be really good in an ad. You know, if you were giving like a YouTube video, Instagram video, it's not that it's bad. It's just know your audience, right? Who should be getting what, when. Solid. Do you think we have time for one more? You think we can squeeze Vanessa in? I feel bad making everybody else wait, but what do you guys think? Can we get Vanessa?
No, let's get Vanessa in. She wanted to chime in. So yeah, we're good.
Cool.
Hi, yes, this is Vanessa. I'm ready. So, okay, guys, I don't have a elevator pitch because I think you're your stuff is more geared towards people that are like selling stuff. I'm
Okay.
interested in starting a business in like doing board and care, because housing here in Sacramento where I'm at is needed, like especially affordable housing. And you know, folks that have like may have they'll be dealing with lightweight mental health issues and things like that. So I'm just kind of looking for guidance on that. I don't know.
Well, firstly, there's if you think about the purpose of a pitch,
Mhm.
in one sense, it's an introductory statement about who you are in a professional context. And so that's the outward purpose of it. The inward purpose of it is a personal intention. So when I'm saying my pitch, it is just as much for me as it is for the person hearing it. So when I say I am Josh Nowak and I am co-founder of Breaking Free Industries, it's more of an affirmation statement. It's just as much an affirmation statement for me that this is who I am. I could say I'm Josh Nowak, ex-felon galore. I could say I am Josh Nowak, ex-husband, and numerous other titles that I could choose to embody. I am co-founder of Breaking Free Industries. It's as much an affirmation of anything. So it's telling the world that this is who I am and this is what I'm doing, and I'm telling myself this is who I am and what I'm doing. So if you're trying to establish yourself as being someone who is solving the housing issues of Sacramento, hi, I am Vanessa, and I am CEO, principal, whatever it is, of Vanessa's Room and Boarding Care. We provide housing and boarding services for those in need of in the Sacramento area. You think through what is it that what are you really asking of people? And then you're finding people, and you can get in touch with me at roomandboarding.com at such and such. Yeah, so it's the pitch is as much about a statement for yourself as what you are doing for clarity of intention purposes, as well as if I'm meeting you on the streets and we're meeting up and, hey, what is it that you do? How do you answer that question?
Right.
So with that in mind, why don't we go through the formula and see how it applies for you? So your name is Vanessa. I am Vanessa
Yes.
Gray, right? And
Yes.
you are, what title are you embodying?
I don't have a title.
Okay, let's make one up.
Okay.
Boss Babe.
Okay.
Okay, I am Boss Babe
That's what I-
of Sacramento Housing Corp. Right?
Okay.
And we provide what services? What do you do?
Board and care. Just,
Okay, so we
housing
provide
for-
board and care. And maybe you want to elaborate a little bit more what board and care happens to mean, because some people might not get it.
Okay. So it's just, it would be like, I have a friend of mine that's doing it, so I kind of get ideas from her. And
Sure. Cool.
they have a place where I guess folks share a room, and then they, they also get meals provided, and then they just what am I trying to say? A portion of their income. There's like a portion of their income that they pay in order to stay there.
Okay, so then we run a board and care, a residential facility for people that are in need of housing. We provide a safe and clean place for people to stay in exchange for a portion of their income, right?
Yes.
And you can find us on Instagram or Airbnb or on Angie's List or Craigslist at whatever it is, or we are located at we're over by the Capitol building, or we're over by, whatever it is that, and this is how you find us to book us. And then you're done.
Okay.
Just because product or service, your business is not any different. It's not to say you're not special. You're correct. Of course, you're very special. But your business has just as much of a need to articulate what it does as every other business. Probably more so because it's a little complicated. Okay, so what is Born and Care? We provide a safe, clean housing environment. We provide whatever it is that however you want to describe it. You can kind of work with the language, and let's kind of come back to it next week. The three of us are back together next week.
Okay.
Nadav, Marco, and I are back next week. So let's have you here, work up some thoughts on it. If you need some help kind of crafting it, by all means, hit me up. I'm happy to do that. And let's kind of work through
Okay.
what does that mean. Now, how you afford it and how you kind of get that stuff together, we'll save that for another day. But
Right.
your business is just as valid as any other one that we've talked about today. And I know very well firsthand that the state of California needs more housing units. So
Yes.
let's make
Oh.
that happen.
Okay. Great. Thanks so much for your ideas.
You bet, you bet. I know we've got one more out there, but we do have to get to some material today. I mean, we're almost halfway done through class and we haven't even opened up our first slide. So
Which is great, right? That's the beautiful thing. But yeah, we will get to everybody else. Thank you guys all so much for wanting to jump in. That's amazing.
yeah, it's interesting because I look at the streams and we have only 21 participants here, but the engagement level is so darn high, which is amazing. Oftentimes we'll have classes that are 4 times as large with the same number of participants. So I really, really do appreciate everyone's desire and willingness to come up and share and participate and all that. So it shows a level of engagement that just attendance figures just don't. So, Nadav, Marco, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Marco, you want to do this or you want me to do this one?
I can start if you want. Yeah, I can start
Go
if you
for it.
want, and then we'll
Nice.
go from there. But yeah, everybody, tonight's class is on sales. So we'll spend the first half of the slides talking about just how you get your first sale and like what sales actually looks like. And then the second half of the slide, we'll talk more about like how you actually grow. So once you do land your first sale, how do you go do that again? How do you get better and better? So kind of just ramping up here. We're going to talk a little bit about like just what sales is, right? So when you're looking at your business idea, like at the end of the day, you want to have a pretty good understanding of what your industry is doing. You have to know your product. You have to know your service really well before you can go meet with clients and go meet with prospects. Like you have to be, if you're going to go into the meeting, you want to be prepared to know and to be able to talk about, hey, what's going on in the cleaning industry, right? Our businesses back to work in Georgia or wherever you are, right? Like you should really know like what is going on within your industry before you go into your meetings. That will just help you a ton. And so when you're analyzing your business idea, that kind of helps prepare you for some of your first business, for some of your first sales meetings, whether that's like getting feedback from peers or friends or family, the types of questions, the type of things that even like Josh and Nadav are asking like after each of you pitch, those are going to be common questions that if you're in a sales meeting, somebody might ask you as well. So just kind of getting feedback from people about your idea, your business model, that will kind of help you as you get started there. Obviously, industry reports, like we were saying, just kind of is helpful as you get going to understand what's going on around your city, around your neighborhoods, with other businesses. And then understanding too, we'll talk more about like profitability a little bit later as well. But just like how understanding like how you price your product is going to be important for going to the sales meeting, because you don't want to sell your service for $10, realizing that it costs you $100 to actually get that sale, right? So that's a huge piece of knowing when you're going to be profitable, how many sales it'll take you to be profitable, and things like that. So in terms of sales, in the second half of the slide here, I always like to say to folks, like most people don't like sales. They don't, there's very few people I would say like who are natural salespeople. Sales is more of like just an acquired skill, something that you can get better at. Most people are turned off of sales because they just think of like, somebody, a telemarketer cold calling them, or like a crazy car salesman trying to convince them of stuff. The way that I look at sales is really like you're just helping somebody. You're really helping somebody with your product or service. You're filling a need. If you're selling somebody something, it's because they have some type of pain or something that you can make better. They have dirty toilets. They, need a new dog. They, whatever it might be, like they need something new or need something fixed, and you're providing that for them. So sales shouldn't be like a bad thing. It gets a bad connotation sometimes, but really you're actually just helping somebody. And that's just the exchange of that commodity and then giving you money to do that, right? So sales, it's all about learning to sell. You can learn to sell. You can't really sell by like reading about it or like, sitting in on a class on it. Like the only way to learn to sell is like actually going out and doing it. It's actually talking with clients, talking with people about what your business is doing. Facing rejection and just the ratio of it, it's hard, right? So like all of us have faced that before, like when you've tried to go out and like Nadav and Josh, and I could tell you countless stories about like trying to convince somebody to buy what we're selling them. And you'll get shut down plenty of time. And people will say, no, I would never want that. No, I'm not interested. And so the reality as an owner, especially like when you're starting your first company, like you have to be okay with people telling you no, because they're not really telling you no. They're not saying, oh, hey, I don't like you, Nadav, or I don't like you, Josh, I don't like you, Marco. Like they're just basically saying, hey, I don't really need your product or service. So you can't take offense to somebody telling you no. You're going to face tons of rejection. That's sales is a numbers game at the end of the day. Like people say that oftentimes where, hey, you got to go talk to 100 people and you might get 30 of them to say yes, right? And that's a win. And so that's just the reality of sales that you got to kind of learn to deal with there. Nadav, Josh, any thoughts on the rejection aspect of it? I think it's a big piece to highlight here.
Yeah, I think rejection hurts. Even if you're an experienced salesperson, rejection is painful, but it's normal. And depending on what you're selling, right? If you're a door-to-door Bible salesman, right? A door-to-door encyclopedia sales, that's tough, right? Like 99 out of 100 doors are closed in your face. So you got to condition yourself. I like your points on that, Marco. What do you say, Josh?
100%. Yeah, my only thing to add to it is, we're always used to the swarmy salesperson, the used car salesman, and think somehow that person has it together and that person's really successful. My view is that the best salespeople are people that help you navigate a process and find a solution for a problem that you have. If you're in the solutions business, I think you'll find your relationships more meaningful, more impactful, and you'll be more successful overall. It's not to say that the swarmy salesperson can't sell a unit or two and can't be wildly successful at it. But if you take on the role of, I'm going to find a solution for people, yeah, you're now in the business of trying to create options. Hey, you've got a problem, and I'm looking for people that have that problem so I can help them fix it. It's not to say that you, oftentimes, especially in the medical world, you'll have physicians out there that they know one trick and they try and find as many people with that diagnosis to fit that one trick. So if I've got muscle pain, if I talk to an orthopedist, they'll be like, oh, I know how to fix it. It's surgery. If I talk to a chiropractor, they'll be like, oh, I know how to fix it. I'm going to crack your back. If I talk to an acupuncturist, they're like, I know how to fix this. I'm going to stick a needle in your body. Like, careful. You don't necessarily want to be the person that solves. There's a phrase that when you're a carpenter, everything starts to look like a nail, and you just try and hammer everything with that one. Like, you become a one-trick pony. You really want to make sure that you understand the needs of each of your customers and what is it they want. And when you become consultative, it's a style of selling that works really well. And that's something that can very easily be learned and work through it so that you can become successful. And yeah, I mean, you will be told no many, many, many times, and that's okay. Focus on the yeses. Focus on the yeses. It's kind of like my dating life. I was told no an awful lot until I wasn't.
Yeah,
but not as much as Nadav. Nadav decisively was told a hell of a lot more than I was.
There we go. I want the slicing comments. All right, Marco, you're going to continue?
Yeah, just the one wrap-up point I'll have there for this slide, just to add on to what Josh said, is basically like that consultative approach works really well in sales. So a lot of people who don't, or maybe more of an introvert, don't like to talk a lot to other people. Like, that's okay if you're an owner and you don't like to talk to people, because the key to sales, no matter who you are, is just asking good questions. If you ask good questions, that's the consultative approach that Josh is talking about. All you have to do is ask people questions and they will solve it for themselves. And they'll be like, oh, maybe I really do need, commercial cleaning services. Like, you can lead them that way. all you have to do is ask good questions. So I'm a big fan of like 3 power questions. Whenever, we'll talk about this later, but whenever I go into meetings, I have 3 questions that I ask everybody. It's like, hey, and maybe it changes based off who that prospect or who that client is, but it's 3 questions that, hey, if I ask them these set of questions, hopefully it will help them realize, oh, I do need that service. Oh, I do need that product that could be useful. And that's you selling, basically, is all you have to do there. So we can keep going to the next slide there, please, Ali.
Yeah, and I just have one last little point on that. When you're listening, you're winning. If you're selling stuff and you are not talking and people are talking to you, you are winning. And guess what? When you're making connections in life, sales is just hanging out with people and making them like you. That's the goal of sales. They're going to say yes to you if they like your vibe and they like you. And if you are listening a lot more than you're talking, like you get that feeling sometimes, right? When you're talking too much and you're just going, that's the wrong thing to do. You want to develop that feeling for the listening part. So Josh, you want this one or you want me to take it?
I'll take it. So growing your business, getting the first sale. You are selling your stuff as much as you're selling your product. People buy things from people. I am buying a piece of that experience. When I'm talking about selling apparel, it's like you can go to Target and spend $3 and get yourself a t-shirt. I'm going to put 40 cents of ink on that t-shirt and I'm going to sell it for 25 bucks. I'm selling myself as much as the product, because the products can oftentimes be commodities. I can talk to any number of people getting my house clean. I can talk to any number of people about getting coffee. Okay, maybe specialty coffee gets a little bit different, but there's a Starbucks in every corner. What makes that coffee shop better than another coffee shop, and so on and so forth. Yeah. If you are lucky enough to get an appointment with a prospect, be on time, but don't show up an hour early and tell them, hey, I'm here for my 10 o'clock appointment and it's 9:15. Come back at 10. I'm busy. Be respectful of people's time. I am an absolute asshole when people are trying to sell me and they are not respectful of my time. I have left many a sales meeting when somebody is not respectful of my time. When I take a sales meeting, I do my research ahead of time, so I know the questions I want to ask. Gregory, we're more than doing the screenshot. Firstly, of course you can screenshot, but we're going to give you the slides tomorrow, so don't worry about that. And if it helps you to take a screenshot so you can notate them and annotate them right now, by all means, go for it. You're welcome. I am always prepared for my meetings when it comes to sales calls. So when people are up there and they're telling me their life story, I'm like, next slide, please. What do you mean? Next slide, please. I know this. Don't waste my time. And I have abruptly ended meetings and canceled meetings because people are not respectful of my time. I've got things going on. And if you're not listening to me and you're not answering the questions I need answered, bye-bye, see you. So be respectful. So when you're making your pitch, this is what we do. This is how we do it. Read the room, read the people in front of you. If they want to talk, as Nadav just said, if they're talking and you're just listening, you are definitely winning. If you are doing the talking and they are on their phone, you are losing. If you are talking to them and they are taking phone calls and they are not engaged, you've lost. I'm just from New Jersey and I'm just far more direct about it, that if you're losing me, I will outright telling you you're losing me. And then ultimately that leads to the line of we're done here. It works really, really well these days because it's on Zoom or a call and I can just hang up. And I've done that. I'm not saying that I'm proud of it, and I will tell you that it's probably inappropriate for me to do that, but at the end of the day, you have been warned. I will tell that person ahead of time. I'm direct. I expect direct communication. And if you're not able to offer direct communication, we're not going to get along very well. Dress and act appropriately for the elements. So I'm a t-shirt guy, right? So I'm always wearing t-shirts. And then we have this big formal event at City Hall. And one of my Commerce of Chamber friends turns around and says, "Can you wear a suit?" I'm like, yes, I will wear a suit. It's the Chamber of Commerce. It's the State of the City event. I will not wear a t-shirt to the State of the City event. And she starts laughing. I said, I sell t-shirts for a living. Do you think I'm going to wear a suit and tie when I'm selling t-shirts for a living? That was my last job when I was a CPA. And she starts laughing. Know your product really well. When you're able to know what it is that you sell. So for Molly and who's our other cleaner?
Roland.
Roland.
Oh.
You have to know what cleaning products are about. You have to know why bleach is bad and why your products are good. It doesn't mean that you have to know the chemical
Wow.
compounds, but if you do, great. Like, know your stuff, know what your competitors do, know what you need to know your supply chain, both upwards and downwards, and the technologies that your industry uses. Know that stuff. The better you know that, the more consultative you can be. Follow up. When you're done with the meeting, have an action item. Like, okay, so our next steps are, I'm going to follow up with you on Tuesday. I had a conversation with a client the other day. I said, so you're going to, at the end of the call, it was, that sounds great. When can I expect your logo? Oh, you'll have it tonight. Great. If I don't hear from you by Friday, I'm going to follow up with you. Is that okay? Perfect. On my task list, follow up with, Caitlin on Friday about the logo. Hey, it's Friday at 5 o'clock. I'm sorry, I have yet to receive your logo. Did you happen to send it over? Oh, not yet. I forgot my computer, blah, blah, blah. Can you follow up with, I'll follow up with you on Monday. So Monday at 5 o'clock, my iPhone goes off, says, text Caitlin, and then lo and behold. So because otherwise you've already gone through the effort of, the hard part is done. You've secured the client. They've listened to your pitch. They've done everything. They want to give you your money, and then you don't call them. Oops. When you have somebody wanting them to give you your money, it's like, yes, please. There's a lot of value in selling to the people and being nice to the people up to the decision maker, but ultimately, like, sometimes you have to work your way up to that decision maker. So never piss on the people, never piss on the gatekeeper. Like, for example, if I wanted to get in front of Brian Hamilton himself, if I'm talking to Allie, I don't have license to disrespect her. You never have license to disrespect anyone. But if your goal is to get in front of a decision maker, if I wanted to talk to Brian Hamilton and I'm talking to Allie, I will not be dismissive of her. Can you imagine how this would go if I said, I need to talk to your boss? You wouldn't know anything about this. Be respectful of everyone in the process, but try to get efficiently past the door, that gatekeeper. You want to make sure that you are in front of that person who's making the decision, because ultimately that's where you need to be, but you need to be respectful to every single person. Going back to my dating life, I have left dates when my dating prospect has been rude to the busboy. See ya. If you are not kind to the hostess, to the busboy, to the bartender, we're not a match. So be kind to every person along the way, but have a focus to get in front of that decision maker. Avoid selling beyond the sale, because you could talk your customer out of doing business with you. Be visual. So we talked just before about the kennel. Show the puppies for those that are in the cleaning. Show sparkling kitchen, sparkling. Do not always show the before pictures there, because, hey, I know that's Marco's bathroom. I know that's Marco's bathroom. And that can be really embarrassing for that relationship. Not a good call. Show the after pictures, generally speaking, unless it's really nondescript. Meaning, like, if you're in the power washing business and you're showing the driveway, cool. But be mindful of the before and after, but definitely show some visuals of the work. Testimonials. We're going to talk more about this later on, but especially if you've done a good job, hey, would you mind, could you please go on Google and give me a review, please? Say something nice about me if you could. Yes, there are some people that, we'll get more to this later on in the course and all that. Yes, before paint pictures works, I would avoid places where it'd be really awkward and embarrassing if someone knew that resonance of, hey, wow, that's my living room and he's portraying me negatively. That person took $500 of mine to really redo the house, and now he's portraying this as the worst job he's ever seen. Yeah, probably not where you want to be. And focus on your positives. Don't be bashing on your competition. This is what we do really well. This is how we go about doing it. I would not start highlighting your competitors' weaknesses. They use inferior products. They use this. They use that. Highlight your attributes. Highlight what it is that you do well. Honey is better than vinegar. You want to honor your competition, because as well as your competition can be a source of referrals. In my business, that happens all the time. We're busy. Do you have capacity? Now, in a coffee business, it may not work well because, I don't see Nadav turn around saying, hey, go to Starbucks. But could you do some joint promotional work and say, hey, let's have a coffee tasting of the town? Yeah. Be on good terms with your competition, because, when you're just like at your residence, you can ask your next door neighbor, hey, can I borrow some eggs? Can I borrow some butter? If your competition has something that you need, or they have equipment that it doesn't make sense for you to buy, but they have, hey, I've got this customer, they need a special, who's gonna what's it? Can we pass some business together? Yeah. Don't be, as well as it's just darn good karma. Like, there's no reason to start, slinging some mud. And even if someone's slinging mud at you, just let it go by right above the fray. There's no reason to start slinging some mud. Yeah, don't go there. All right, Marco, Nadav, what do you got?
One quick thing I'll add. I think Josh covered this all perfectly. On the decision maker thing, the one framework just that I use kind of mentally when I'm in a sales meeting is something called BANT, B-A-N-T, BANT. It's just more of like a checklist for folks of like, okay, hey, am I meeting with the right person? And like, are they a good fit for buying my product or service? So what that stands for, B is budget. Do they have the money to buy this? A, do they have the authority? Is this the decision maker? Can this person say yes? Am I talking to the store manager, or am I talking to just the busboy? And do they have a need for it? Do they actually need me, need my product, need my service? And T is timing. Do they actually, is now the right time for them to buy this, or are they under contract with another commercial cleaning business for 3 more months, right? And so if you think of that framework in terms of sales meetings, I think it's super helpful to at least mentally go through a checklist. Does somebody have budget, authority, needs, and the right timing? There's other sales frameworks you can use, but I think that's just a helpful one that I've always used in meetings to just make sure that like the meeting is progressing the right way and that you're talking to like the right people is it helpful. And Ali just dropped an example of it there in the chat. So.
Dropping truth, Marco. I think, yeah, that's a very good addition. And yeah, I don't have anything to add to this either. You guys are rocking and rolling. I think this is great. And I think we're ready for the next slide, and I think it's mine. All right, so you get these leads. You get people who are interested in what you're doing. Sometimes you hear about them. Sometimes they just kind of pop up, right? Sometimes your neighbor's like, oh, my friend is interested in what you're doing. They want to get their house clean. Or other times they actually will contact you, right? And say, I'm interested in what you're doing. Tell me more. So, when you're converting, the idea is to convert these leads, change them from being leads, just people interested, to people who are actually buying from you. Move them along that process and why they should choose you. And they all want to know what's in it for me. It's so true. And everybody on this call, right? All of us in our minds, why are we here today? What's in it for us to be here, right? What's in it for you guys to be here? We only do things as humans when there's motivation for us to do it. Otherwise, we don't do it. What's in it for me? And every customer you talk to has that in the back of their minds. When they meet you, when they see you, when they understand what you're doing, is Josh going to slam the phone on you? Because he knows there's nothing in it for him, right? He's going to be brutally honest. But your goal is to not waste your time with the people that's not resonating with, right? If you already are talking to people and you have a cleaning service and they've got a cleaner they've used forever, it's like they love their person. Don't waste your time, right? Move on. Continue prospecting and talking to different people. But when you do find it, know that when you communicate with them, you really need to sell them on the features and benefits and get to that emotional place where you can tell them this is what's in it for you, what that outcome's going to be. And we talked about differentiating factors, right? How you can be different and special. So what is your unique proposition? What are you bringing that's special to the table and how you present it with them? This goes to what they remember about you, but also that you're able to really fill that need in a way that's memorable to them in their minds. So these are some ways we think about it, of how we turn folks who might be interested in what you're doing to folks that are going to buy from you. So the idea here is you have leads, and then there's a conversion rate. The percentage of the people that are leads what percentage of those actually become your customers? So if you have 10 leads and 3 become your customers, you are converting 30%. That can be an amazing number, amazing number. You know, you think about online advertising, think about different kind of conversion rates, we're talking usually less than 1%, right? Can be horrifically tough to go from a lead to someone actually buying stuff. But guess what? When we are in a community and when we are talking to humans as opposed to just interacting with computers, our conversion rate goes up. We have more success when we have that emotional connection with people. And you, if you're starting a business, introducing something, you are immediately bringing that emotional connection to folks, right? So I think this is a really important point that is a plus for everybody on this call. That when you are starting, you are more emotionally invested, more excited about every one of those conversions than you are 2 years from now. If you need 6 customers, you know, it might be better and cheaper for you to increase your conversion, find out how to get more people to say yes than necessarily to get a lot more leads coming. And part of this is figuring out too, why people say no, right? Like, what are the barriers? If you make your pitch to some people, right? You talk to people about your cleaning service and everybody says no. Like, well, why? You know, what am I doing wrong? How can I change how I'm framing, how I'm talking about what I'm offering to make it more appealing so that more people say yes? And that idea is really important too. So you can adjust it, pivot it, you know, and get it so that it resonates more with the folks that you're talking to. And what do you guys think, Marco and Josh?
Yeah, I think that's good. I threw one thing in the chat there, just in terms of like the unique selling proposition. There's really like 3 ways you can look at it, right? So you either can be better as a company, you can be faster, or you can be cheaper. And it's like, at the end of the day, you just don't want to be cheaper. Otherwise you're just cutting your profits down basically. So I always say, hey, find a way to be better than your competition, find a way to be faster, be more on time, whatever that is. That's like a huge key there. And that's communicating that with your clients, I think is key. And then the conversion rate stuff is crucial as well, right? So like, it's going to depend based off the industry. For some industries, converting at 30% could be great. For some, it could be really bad, right? For some, it could be 1% is good versus that could be terrible, could be 80%. So that's just where it comes back to like knowing your industry, knowing your sales cycle, knowing your process, knowing like how much you make off of a sale. That's all going to dictate like what good numbers and good metrics look like for you. So Josh, Nadav, and I are like all more than happy to talk with each of you individually if that's helpful for you. Like understanding, hey, what would be a good sales conversion rate and stuff like that, because that stuff is important to track. And as you get bigger and as you grow, you want to keep tracking all these different things, because that's the easiest area for improvement. Josh, any thoughts there?
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing over here. Yeah.
He's too busy tracking his sales conversions, tracking the spreadsheet of the people he converted.
You know, Jews don't really work on the conversion piece. You know that, Nadav. So the insight here on the conversion rate, if you need 6 customers, yeah, it is often better and cheaper to increase your conversion rate than to get more leads. Yes, but we want to talk about what's a good conversion rate. In most industries that I know, you want to be between 40 to 60% conversion. If you are too low, that means you probably need to go back to sales school and your prices might be too high. I'm not talking about website conversions and things like that. I'm talking that if I've got a business meeting with you and we're talking about whatever it is, the likelihood and the propensity for me to close you from lead to closing once I'm in front of you, that's what we're talking about. So there's 2 things that are really implicit in this. The first is that we're tracking this information. Important. When I get a lead, you need a place to track it. It could be a spreadsheet. It could be pencil and paper. It doesn't have to be a fancy system like Salesforce or HubSpot or HubSpot is free. It's awesome. It's actually a really good tool and I use it. And it's a freemium type product. So it's really, really cool. Ali actually just referenced it above when she put in the band. HubSpot is the name of the company that blog was on. If you are closing 10 out of 10, you are probably too cheap. More likely than not. And if nothing else, even if you are closing 10 out of 10, raise your prices 20%. Because if I'm selling 10 out of 10, people will pay, if they're paying $100. So this is like, if I'm thinking about Molly for a second here. If you're getting 100 and you're getting, if you're charging $100 per, and everyone is saying yes, absolutely go ahead and raise your price by 15-20% straight away. You want a few people to say that's too expensive. If not, you're doing it wrong. And remember, because once you turn around and do service, especially on these repeat service kind of things, such as house cleaning, commercial cleaning, once you say yes to them, they're still going to be with you next week and the week after that. So if you want to target to make $100 per hour of billables or of billings, and you just quoted $70, well, shoot, I now just took one of my available hours. I'm now only going to make 70 out of the 100 I could be making. No. I can understand the desire to turn around and discount and all that, but when you discount, you have all kinds of unintended consequences with it. So you want to have your ratio, ideally for most businesses, between 40 and 60%. There are some exceptions on, if you're in e-commerce, if you're hitting 2%, you're killing it. But generally speaking, if I'm face-to-face doing sales, yeah, I mean, you want to be somewhere between 40 and 60. Mine's probably closer to 80. I think the last I looked at mine was like between 75 and 80%, which basically says to me it's time for me to raise my prices. I've got too many people saying yes. So yeah, and yeah, for sure, it is certainly better and cheaper to increase your conversion and get more leads, because hey, if I can just really listen to my customer a little bit more and I go from 3 to 6, that's huge. I'm just talking like when it's at 100%, when it's at 90%, your prices are too cheap. It's not sustainable. All right, next slide. I'm going to go through here. I'm going to take this one. We're going to go through this a little on the quicker side because we've still got another 3 slides to go after this one. This is a step-by-step roadmap for me to get from here to there. Your business may be different, but not appreciably so. Hey, Nadav, let's talk about apparel. Hey, I don't buy shirts. I don't ever buy shirts. I'm an accountant and I wear press shirts every day. I don't buy. Okay, cool, perfect, thanks. Thanks for letting me know. But in his business as being apparel, hey, wouldn't it be great for you to have some merch for your store? Absolutely. So now I've just qualified them. Hey, tell me about what it is that you like about your shirts. What is it, where are you currently getting your shirts from? Let me just start asking some questions, and I shut up and let them identify their need. They'll start telling me, hey, yeah, I've got some shirts, blah, 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 blah. If they can articulate what they need, helpful. Hey, my toilet bowl is filthy. My cooktop, filthier still. And Lord knows the last time I actually burned down my oven and cleaned out my oven. Don't even mention the refrigerator. It's nasty. Like, if they can recognize and articulate what they need, now you can propose a solution. Hey, let's go ahead and get you on a weekly cleaning process, because you know what? You're in a commercial space. Every day you have people using the restroom. I think you want to make sure that that restroom is clean, because people, if you're in a restaurant, they want to see a clean bathroom. An unclean bathroom is symptomatic of an unclean kitchen when you're in the food service space. Cool. Propose that solution. Hey, I see you really like this apparel. Here's what you asked for. Oh, and by the way, it's now September. Most of the country is getting a little cooler here. Have you thought about long sleeves or hoodies? I can quote that too if you want. Propose that solution. Then ask for the business. This goes back to making sure you do the follow-up. Hey, this is what I think we should do. And then you're asking for that business. When do we start? When do we begin? This PowerPoint, John, this is going to be, you're going to get copies of this tomorrow with when Ali sends it all out. And every week on the Wednesday following class, Ali will send out the slides, the recordings, all that sort of stuff. And if you have any questions whatsoever, by all means, hit us up. Marco, myself, Nadav, Ali will include our emails. Hit us up. I will give you my cell phone. We can schedule time together to chat through any of this stuff. So if any of this is unclear, how do I apply this to my business? If you pick me, you're going to get the short straw, because Nadav is far more qualified and Nadav's a stud and I'm just a village idiot. But whoever you feel like you want to chat with, all three of us are happy to give you time to just work through whatever issues you've got.
Actually, Marco, who's the best.
Not at all. No.
Explain the next steps. Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for this opportunity. We're going to come to your house on Friday. We're going to paint your house. Let's make sure that your dog is put in the bathroom. Let's make sure that things are off the floor. This is how the deposit's going to work. Explain the next steps. Tell them what's going on. Once you do the service, give them a thank you. And depending upon the nature of your business, a handwritten thank you at that. So if you're in a more of a high touch environment, after you do the first cleaning, send them a handwritten thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be of service to you. I really enjoyed meeting you and giving you the first cleaning of the house. Maybe you include something cutesy, maybe some swag, maybe it's a sticker, maybe it's a magnet, maybe it's just, if you're in food service, maybe it's a mint, maybe like, for me, I will often include thank you notes and include a t-shirt just for grins and giggles. It'll be my t-shirt with my branding on so you can rep out. I'm not giving you your logo, F you, not doing it. But I will gladly, after meeting with you and your order, I will usually include my t-shirt so you can rep. If I'm feeling particularly generous, I might include as an upsell after your first order, if you ordered just tees, I might include a hoodie, just one hoodie in there as, hey, can we talk about hoodies now? After I've gotten your money for 100 t-shirts, then I'm going to bring up, hey, let's talk about hoodies, or let's talk about long sleeves, or let's talk about other colors because it's the season. I might take it as an opportunity to do my next upsell as part of the thank you. Yeah. And so if you think about this from a sales funnel perspective, we've gone from from awareness, who are we, all that, to interest. Are you interested? Can we qualify you, make sure you're right? Let's get a decision. Let's take action. Yeses are great. No's actually are also pretty great too. I don't want to talk to you. If someone's, when in my CPA world, it would be, sorry, I'm really happy with my CP. Great, cool, love it, thanks. That's clarity, I love it. I can move on to my next. I'd much rather a quick no because the maybes effing kill me. I don't know, my current guy, I pay $400 and he's good. I don't give a shit. Are we doing business or not? What are we doing here? I could spend an awful lot of time. Oh, can I ask you a couple of questions? No. Are we doing business or are we not? I've given you your free hour. I've given you your free 15 minutes. Are we doing business or are we not? Action. There's a limit to how many times I want to be in that iterative process of, well, maybe, let me go talk it over with my spouse. And let me talk it over with my significant other. Let me consult the psychic hotline network. I mean, give me an effing break. Are we in or are we at? Let's get
And sometimes maybe really means no, but they're being too polite to tell you to your face because they feel some
100%.
stigma about saying no. So they actually, when you talk to folks and you say no, you're doing them a favor that they can stop wasting time on you.
Absolutely. And I will tell people straight up, I'm not making a decision today. Give me your information. I think this is a decision I'll make 6 months down the road. And if they try and talk me out of it, I'm like, did you not hear what I just said? I like you. I appreciate you. I would like to do business with you. Today is not the day. And I'll say it just like that. I had that conversation yesterday morning. I love your product. I love you. I love what we're about. I'm not buying your product today. I'm probably going to buy it in the next 3 months. Stay engaged.
So Marco, I want to give you a chance to have comments on this page too, but I'll just jump in real quick and say the thank them part cannot be overemphasized, especially for a small business, especially when you start. Make sure your customers know how much it means. It's such a big deal that they chose you, right? It's like you are literally, I would tell my customers in my coffee place, you are literally feeding my family. Someone would spend $4 on a cup of coffee and it was that level of, oh my God, you have made the world amazing for me. I love you. When you bring that kind of energy to even a small insignificant sale, they don't get that anywhere else. And it's free for you to give that. So the more you can create that connection, those good vibes, tell folks about how you volunteer, about how you donate money to causes in the community, and that by choosing you, they allow you to do that. All those things are amazing. What do you think, Marco?
Yeah, that's so good. The power of the thank you, honestly, is what I think helps the small business beat the big business at the end of the day. So do those things. You could always do more of that. I think just to wrap this slide up tactically, right? So Josh did a good job like going through each of those steps. What I would recommend each of you doing is like decide how this fits into your business, right? So saying, okay, hey, for some of you, steps 1 through 8, you might do all in one meeting or maybe 2 meetings, right? Towards like, hey, you meet with the customer, you go through everything, and then you're deciding like if they're moving forward and buying something in one meeting. For others, it might be 3 or 4 meetings, right? Or like for a lot of you, it's for a lot of service-based industries, it's going to be 2 meetings. It's going to be like, hey, initial consultation. You're going to show up on the site, talk with them through what they need, figure out how much it's going to cost, and then maybe a couple of days later you'll send them a quote and then meet back up a second time, right? So for most of you, this will be broken down to 2 meetings, but I would recommend like each of you tactically figuring out like, hey, when are you going to do each step? And then what does that look like for them to get to help get somebody to the next step? Because that will help what Josh was saying before of like making somebody make a decision so that way they don't just keep saying maybe, is having those next steps, having that next meeting on the calendar. That way you can kind of keep the sales process moving and flowing.
Yeah, and if you want to role play, let us know. Happy to role play.
Nadav, did you have something? You're on mute. Otherwise, I can.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, I think, Marco, you got this next slide, but I wanted to talk to something that Ronald put in the chat about reminding them of the next cleaning. No, when you're in the service business, you're scheduled. As soon as they commit, get that scheduled forever, right? Every 2 weeks, boom, put the onus on the customer to change it. You know, that's part of that scheduling thing.
Really good stuff. Yeah, you should always have that next one booked because then that's recurring revenue. It's easy to win. Okay, on this slide. So now this is kind of moving to like, hey, you've had your first sale. Like, how do you grow your business? So we're going to kind of transition phases a little bit here. So you've landed that first deal. Now what Nadav was talking about before, like improving your conversion rate, like there's a couple ways you can do that, right? So whether that's one, like if you say, hey, I'm only converting at 30% I meet with somebody and only 30% of people actually, say yes or buy my product or service. But like, hey, I know I need to be at 60%. How do I get from 30% to 60%? Maybe you need to educate them more on your unique selling proposition. So maybe you look back at your meetings and you do some reflection and say, okay, hey, how do I just describe what I'm doing better? How do I help educate people that, I am better or I am faster in different ways? Like, how do I prove that? So maybe that's one way to do it. A second way, like that listening piece is ask, listen, solve their problem, but listening is bold there. So oftentimes, like what Nadav was saying earlier, like listening is winning in a sales meeting. There's actually like data that proves this in a lot of cases. Like you should be talking less than half the time in an actual sales meeting because you should be asking questions and letting somebody else answer it. So maybe you need to listen more and going back and evaluate the questions that you ask and how you ask questions. That could help improve your conversion rate. Testimonials and referrals, like what Josh was talking about like earlier, like that's huge. If you can get somebody to like rate you on Google My Business or what other places, sharing those testimonials and referrals with clients in meetings is usually like super helpful. It's like, hey, look what we did here. Here's the before and after picture. Or hey, look at how happy this customer is. Or hey, we've had this customer for 12 straight months now, right? Like those kind of cases are really good to talk about in sales meetings a lot of times because it gives people proof of, hey, I should choose Nadav, or I should buy Josh's t-shirts, right? Like that's a helpful piece for somebody to make that decision. Also too, educating them on value versus price. I mentioned this before, like you can be better or faster. You don't want to be cheaper because if you're cheaper, that means somebody's just buying based off of price. If somebody's buying based off of price, they undervalue your service, they undervalue you. That's not a good customer to have. So instead of just saying, oh, hey, we're cheaper than all the competition in, Phoenix, like you should be saying like, hey, no, here's what we do. That's great. Here's why we're awesome. Here's why we're better. Here's why we're faster. That value, if you can prove to them, hey, we have more value than our other competitors that you could choose from. If you highlight your strengths, that will allow somebody to justify the price point that they're going to pay, even if it's the same price as one of your competitors. So that's a key piece. And then also too, improving your conversion rate. We talked about marketing last week, right? So it's also too looking back at your marketing channels and saying, okay, hey, what's actually working the best? So it's not to say, okay, hey, I got 100 flyers and that got me 10 leads, and I made, I've talked to 100 businesses on foot and that got me 30 leads. Well, yeah, those metrics are important, but it's also important to look at saying, okay, hey, which marketing, what ends up actually leading to the most number of deals closed and how much value is coming from those. That's an important piece there for improving your conversion rate. Nadav, Josh, any thoughts on improving conversion rate or other things you guys haven't tried to in the past? I know we're kind of coming up on time, but any quick thoughts there?
No, I think you hit it. I think you hit it. And I think the earlier comment about the band, I think that kind of ties into this. And I think the most important word on this particular slide is process. A process will mean that you are tracking, you're testing, you're measuring, all that sort of stuff. And when you're doing that, there's an old adage in the financial reporting world is what gets measured improves by definition. So if I start tracking conversion rate, it's going to improve. Why? Because I'm looking at it. I will start doing activities that will make that number improve. Just like if I start weighing myself every day, I probably will start losing weight. It's as if I were weighing myself every day, I might actually care what I'm eating. So there you go. Next slide.
Yeah, that's the big piece. Yeah, make sure you're measuring stuff. You can get that more, do more sophisticated stuff over time, but keep it simple up front. Yeah, we'll keep going, Allie.
All right, I get to blind everybody with science. Is this the idea? All right, so be overwhelmed with all these numbers, right? We're throwing numbers at you. Here we go. Okay, so the idea here is that the number of leads multiplied by that conversion rate, so 25% of them, 1 out of 4, 4,000 is going to give you 1,000 customers. And then each average dollar amount per customer is $100, let's say, and you got $200,000 in revenue. Following? So what if we increase each item by just 10% with the same number of leads, right? If you can increase your conversion rate by 10%, so instead of 25%, we're jumping to 27.5%, all of a sudden you gain 10% more customers, 1,100 customers. And then that leaves you at the end, that bottom line number, 266, way more money, right? Has this multiplying effect. So you can grow your gross revenue, which is your top line sales amount, how much money you're bringing in before expenses, before that you have to pay for any of the other stuff. You know, how can you increase that number to grow your sales? Because ultimately that's going to lead to how much money you take home at the end of the day after you pay those expenses. Does that make sense? Yeah? Josh and Marco, what do you guys want to add?
I think it just makes sense. Go through the activity book on page 20. Start working through these numbers. I mean, I'm looking at the time and seeing that we're running a little short here. I think we get the point that when you can increase the conversion from 25 to 27.5, or if it's 30 to 60, what have you, the revenue can really spike because you're already spending those resources to get the same number of leads. But you could substitute leads for time. If I have 100 meetings on my calendar, that's 100 hours. It's 100 half hours, whatever it is. Every time I can move that needle forward, I'm spending the resources to try and get into that business. The sooner I reach a final disposition, the happier I am. Ideally in the yes bucket quickly. If it has to be in the no bucket, let it also be quick. But if I can move that number to go from 25% to 30%, well then for the same effort, I've now really increased my productivity. And that's what we're saying here. And so definitely, go through the sales worksheet that Ali just dropped in the chat. Let us know if you've got challenges, issues, if I'm speaking Greek here, or if Nadav here is speaking Hebrew and you don't understand, let's just go with that.
Marco, if you got anything to add, jump in, but I'm going to try to do the next slide here. We'll do the 48-second version of the last slide, unless you got anything you want to add. All right. I don't know if the internet was not working. Looks like you froze up a little. Cool. All right.
Which means that slide is all yours, dude.
Apparently, I'm taking it. All right. So how do we increase this number of transactions, right? How can we sell more transactions, more times where money's coming in? So outstanding service is free. If you can do it, or you can train your employees to do it, if you can make amazing customer service happen, you will sell more. And adding reminders into the mix is really big too. If you communicate regularly with your customers, ideally in ways that are free to you, like email newsletters, texting, right? If you're in touch with the folks that are giving you money, that is a good thing. You can find a way to give buyers perks, right? Instead of discounting your price, find a way to give people more, right? It's this under promise, over deliver part, right? Where you are doing more than they expect, or you're giving them more than they are thinking. You need to be the expert of your field. Everybody's going to be looking to you to know everything about dog breeding, Darian. I know Darian left the call, but that's a good example, right? When people come to Darian, they're going to want him to have all that information, and he's got to be that expert. So that's the same for all you guys in your different fields. You can have newsletters that kind of reinforces that you're an expert, sending out a regular email, however often, once a month, twice a month. Book the next visit or the next time the transaction happens, or have that built in already. Like we talked about with Ronald, the way the cleaning system works, right? Like once you're booked, you are booked forever, every 2 weeks, forever. We're planning on it. It's Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to see you every other week. Plan on that. And so wherever you can book in a business is very powerful, because then the momentum is working in your favor, as opposed to the momentum working in the favor of the customer, right? Where they're not necessarily going to book. Gift kind of goes with that idea of a perk. You know, find ways to thank your customers in all sorts of ways. So how can we increase the dollar amount per sale, getting more revenue from each customer interaction in that way? So you can upsell, right? And we kind of know this feeling, you know, when we buy something and then salesperson says, oh, don't you want this extra thing with what you've committed to buy already? It's possible to do that. It can be a little shady feeling, but it can be important if you offer it in a very honest way to be like, look, most of my customers who buy this, they're also really happy when they buy this. You know, when Josh sells a bunch of shirts, right? You can say, my customers are really happy when they also buy the ink, the invisible ink that I normally use on the shirts. You know, just people are not into it. You should really pay extra for the visible ink. Feels shady, right? He's laughing at me here.
Well, I'm thinking about the glow in the dark ink, which is actually really kind of fun.
That is super fun.
It
So
is really fun.
figure out a way to add it on. You can use a checklist to think about how you're going to add stuff, right? Like what could be added here. Think about the supermarket where they have the impulse buys, right? When you're at the supermarket and you're checking out and you see the gum, you see the candy, you see the magazine, you see the almanac, they are there for a reason. These are impulse buys that people will just grab. Figure out how to use that power of impulse to increase your average ticket amount a little bit. And then warranty and money back guarantees, those can be powerful. A lot of times these kinds of perks, you never end up with customers that need them, that use them and call you on them, but they can make people feel very comfortable and create that atmosphere of warmth. Never, ever drop your price. Even if you're going to give coupons at the very beginning, you might be tempted to drop your price. Your price, whatever you drop your price, all your customers are going to imagine and see that that should be the normal price. And then when you try to charge the normal price, they're going to see that as too expensive. So that is my 90-second spiel, and we got to 7:30. We did it. So Ali, we can toss it back to you. I think we have maybe one more slide with the homework. Get into that sales process worksheet and work on that elevator pitch, and we'll toss it back to Ali to wrap us up.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh and Nadav and Marco. We so appreciate you, as always, giving your time and your resources and your energy to us. To everyone else in the class, I will send you the recording tomorrow. So we'll have the recap, the recording, PowerPoints, all the links I threw in the chat. Otherwise, our next class is a week from tonight. I believe that is September the 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you have any questions in the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out. We hope you have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.